As with any PvE update, remember that things might change before League's next patch comes along. Lots of stuff gets added and pulled from the PvE, so don't worry too much if you see something that you don't like. But before we even talk about the game-changing balance updates, let's go over everyone's favorite pony. Hecarim has a really nice visual update on the PvE, and as long as there aren't any major bugs, we should expect to see these changes in patch 11.5. This update reminds us of the update that Lulu and Lux got a while ago, giving older skins and champion models a chance to catch up to the higher standards of today. Hecarim is getting all of his models updated, except for his most recent cosmic skin. Our guess is that the particles and effects of the skin are already good enough, so why spend extra time on it? And as I'm saying that all of his models are getting an update, it reminds me that this horse has got a lot of skins. And if you don't feel like looking at all of them, all you need to know is that Hecarim definitely looks like he came from the Shadow Isles. All of his abilities have better looking effects, including his auto attacks, basic abilities, and ultimate. Riot really hit the mark with this one, and I'm excited to play with Hecarim on the Rift in patch 11.5. Before we talk about our PvE balance updates, let's talk about our awesome discount over at ProGuides.com. From now until the end of the month, you can get 20% off of any purchase if you use the code RANKUP2021 at checkout. Make sure to stop by and see if there's anything you like. Moving on to some of the more controversial balance updates, the first one that we want to highlight is a buff to the support items. More specifically, the Shard of True Ice and Black Mist Scythe now give you an additional 300 range when placing any ward. It's important to note that this doesn't apply to the Bulwark of the Mountain or Pauldron of White Rock, which are commonly known as the last hitting support items. So there's a lot to unpack when it comes to this massive change. Typically, ranged supports are the only ones who buy one of the harassing support items, which means ranged supports will have a lot of extra safety whenever they're trying to ward for their team. Melee supports will not have this luxury. I think the goal of this change is to create more of a balance between melee supports and ranged supports. Right now, ranged supports seriously struggle with getting vision on their own. In a solo queue environment, it's hard to coordinate your team to always play with you whenever you want to get vision. If you're a Janna and try and ward Baron on your own, there's a big chance that you'll just die in the process. As a melee support, you usually don't need to worry about face checking brushes as much, since it's your job to frontline for the team anyway. If we're looking at the support items right now, the harassment items like Shard of True Ice and Black Mist Scythe are just inconsistent at higher levels of play. The last hitting support items are way more consistent, and they also play a crucial role in getting your level 2 spike as a bot laner. I think this warding change is trying to balance the two categories of support items and make ranged supports more viable. Even if this change is a bit heavy-handed, I think it's really cool that Riot isn't afraid to try new ways to buff and nerf classes in League. Supports have a totally different way of generating gold in the game, and it's Riot's job to balance that effectively. And last but not least, let's talk about what's being nerfed on the PvE right now. More specifically, I want to highlight two items that are getting changed: Essence Reaver and Manamune. Both of these items are situational right now, fitting into only a handful of item builds. I mean, tell me the last time that you saw somebody build Essence Reaver that wasn't named Ezreal. I mean, some AD carries pick it up later on in the game, but this nerf still feels a little out of left field. Despite how little Essence Reaver is purchased, on the PvE, it's losing 10 AD, putting it down to a total of 45. Mana Immunity now also costs 3,000 gold to complete, and the mana to AD conversion is lowered from 2.5% to 2%. Both of these nerfs seem like specific nerfs to Ezreal in particular, because he's really the big champion that's building Essence Reaver right now, and Mana Immunity is kind of the backup mana option. I'm not sure how I feel about this one, because I don't think that Ezreal is particularly oppressive right now, but at the same time, I haven't played against him too much, so let me know in the comments down below if you think this kind of nerf is warranted or not. This is a steep nerf which basically destroys Ezreal's build paths, and I'm curious what that's going to do to the champion in the long run.